702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Six minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to it. You're on 702. My name is Thabo Shoda-Mashao. In for Clement Manyathela. We're together till 12. It's great to have you on this Friday, the 5th of December. The year is just about to expire, 2025 that is, and I'm hoping that it was a fruitful year, productive. It had its ups and downs, I'm sure, and we get into that point where many of us will be reflecting. The bodies are starting to complain. Fatigue is kicking in, and the mind is also saying, hey, you need a little bit of rest. Is that how you feel right now? Well, today we have a great show for you as usual, and I'm hoping that you'll participate. Call us, send text messages, send voice notes on social media, X, Facebook, Instagram, and elsewhere. You'll also participate. Speaking of which, speaking of social media, guess what? If you are 16 years and below and you are the resident of Australia, or you live in Australia, or you are in Australia, you won't be allowed to access social media, or it will be illegal for you to access social media, simply because they are passing a law on that. I'll speak about that a little bit later on, as I would want to canvass your views as a South African, if that is exactly what you'd like the country to go towards, that direction of banning or making it illegal for 16-year-olds to access social media. But back home very quickly, I'll come back to the Australian story, but back home very quickly, there is, I suppose, counting underway now, subsequent to an election that was held for the ANC regional head in Johannesburg. The contest is between Dada Morero, the incumbent, and Loyiso Masuku, who happens to be the deputy regional secretary of Johannesburg, of the ANC, that is, the African National Congress, that is. So the contestation is the one within the African National Congress. And in a short while, I'm hoping sometime during the show, we'll be able to cross to Alfara Moshwani to give us the latest on who has been elected. As soon as we have those news, we will be the first to give them to you. That is very important, and you may ask why. Ahead of the 2026 and possibly 2027 local government election, it will determine, perhaps to a large extent, who becomes a mayoral candidate. If not that, it will determine the power dynamics within the ANC in the region, provincially and also nationally, because Johannesburg is the center of power. It is a hub of activity, not just the economy. It's also a hub of influence. So whoever gets that, they would definitely want to become the mayor of Johannesburg. At least the candidate to become the mayor of Johannesburg, although it's going to be a very heated contest, I am assuming, in 2026 and 2027. As you already know, Helen Zille has also thrown her hat in the ring to say that she's available, and many other people. I think Kenny Kunene is also throwing his worth there, saying that he wants to become the mayor of Johannesburg, and many other individuals. So I would love to hear from you about that issue, and I will give you the very latest as it unfolds. And I think it's taking place somewhere in Woodmead on the other side. What's the suburb just on the other side of the road, almost the auxiliary or the service road, if you will, of the M1 North and M1 South, Mike 1 North and Mike 1 South. There is a conference center that side where all of this is unfolding. So we'll chat about that. I'm sure it will also be of interest to look into. So, amongst other things, I had wanted us to reflect a little bit on Madlanga Commission. We cannot, it's their last day today. They'll be going on a break, and they will be on the 17th of December issuing an interim report. I think that interim report is going to be scathing on a number of individuals. Brown Mohotsi, if I were to put my head if I were to put my neck under the guillotine for that one, I suspect that Brown Mkhotsi is not going to be glittered with confetti. His name as it appears in the interim report. I'm just speculating at this point. I don't know what the report will entail, but those are the people who didn't necessarily present themselves very well or in glowing colors. Senzo Mchunu as well. I don't think the minister on special leave has managed to achieve the reputational harm, reputational management or damage control that he had wanted to do by appearing. He did not do himself any favors whatsoever. I also think Dr. Imogen Mashazi, I think that the report won't be glowing on her as well, and a number of other individuals, but you can share that with me. Feel free to do so. And speaking of the minister on special leave, he was there yesterday, and I don't know if you were following yesterday, and he presented some very interesting arguments. There was a point where he was trying to redefine the meaning of immediately. Abel, I know you don't want to play it now. First, I have to say, it's 12 minutes after 9 o'clock. Abel, the show has officially begun.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Now we can begin officially. Abel is the master of the studio here. Now we can begin officially. And I was just reflecting on, I thought that was a rather pedantic, and the minister could have dealt with the matter in a different way. But he decided to be rather petty and to redefine what immediate means, and to hide behind the small, if any, difference between effective immediately and immediately. I think, in my humble opinion again, Commissioner Madlanga, he executed himself excellently. He was a gentleman and a scholar. He played that role beautifully without necessarily being aggravated and without necessarily badgering the witness or someone who's on the stand. He really carried himself with dignity, even when he asked very serious questions. So the exchange I was speaking about went like this. That's if you missed it.
It is you that acted immediately.
Maybe let me put it like this to explain. It doesn't say, for instance, with immediate effect. It says immediately, meaning this decision has been taken immediately.
So the way I'm sitting, I think the two mean the same.
But in the context, especially when you attach the preliminary report, which is not required as of 31, it is required for another date, and then the UNESCO, it clearly sends a message that this immediate is not like switching off. It's not like whoever is driving.
Minister, when I studied or was taught English in my younger days, they would say an adverb. What does it do? It modifies a verb, I think, and an adjective qualifies a noun. That's the grammar I was taught. So your immediately is an adverb. So which verb in your sentence does it modify or does it relate to? That's where I want to be sure of what exactly you mean. Because as the sentence stands, it follows immediately after the verb disestablished. And ordinarily, I would read that to mean that you want the task team disestablished immediately. So the immediately relates to disestablished. So that's what must happen immediately. Now, with those views and a little bit of grammar insofar as I understand it, can you try to explain and make me understand your use of immediately?
It says immediately, yes.
Yes.
But then, because I understood that immediately is a process. It denotes a process. There would definitely be a process which the National Commissioner needs to speak to or respond to. It is immediately, but pointing to two futuristic events. The preliminary report, if you like, you would say, oh, okay, it's immediately, but not before the preliminary report.
Having said all of that, you still didn't consult the National Commissioner. Having said all of that, you still did not consult the National Commissioner. It really bothers me when we have high-profile individuals who are tasked with literally running our lives and protecting us as South Africans, and they carry themselves out like this. It could be that I'm the only one who sees a problem with this, and please feel free to call in and put me in my place if I'm wrong. I would have expected more from the minister. Here he is saying that it immediately denotes a process. If then it denotes a process, why then rush on the 31st of December when we are all worried about braai meat, some cold drinks, some wine running out of stores, and who are we hanging around with that night? Why worry about terminating or disbanding the PKTT on the 31st of December? You could wait for the 15th. You could wait for the 30th. Simply also because the commissioner, the National Police Commissioner, is on leave. You could wait till he comes back, invite him to your office. I mean, even until June. You could easily wait. But on the 31st, it must be done right here, right now. And coincidentally, air quotes, coincidentally, just as Brown Mokhotsi had intimated to Kat Matlala that this would be the case, that the PKTT would be disbanded. I don't know what you think. Feel free to give us a call on 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702, or send a voice note or text message to 072-702-1702 with your thoughts on these and more. But that was not the end of it. There was also a very interesting part where there was an exchange between Commissioner Madlanga together with the Minister on Special Leave, Senzo Mchunu. Very, very interesting. Before I even touch on it, I don't know if we have it, Abel, you'll give me a heads up when you're ready. Because I thought as the exchange was going on, the commissioner was right on point. Commissioner Madlanga was right on point about the minister not having done a thorough consultation. And he asked him, what kind of a relationship did you have with the National Commissioner Masemola, General Masemola? And he said, we had a wonderful, I'm paraphrasing, those may not necessarily be the exact words, but he was saying we had a good relationship with. If you have a good relationship, even if you didn't, but if you have a good relationship with the commissioner, why don't you take him into your confidence? He is the one who sets up task teams. He is the one who is responsible for making sure that those are executed. And the exchange, if I remember it very well, as I was listening intently to it yesterday, Commissioner Madlanga was saying, yes, the president might have precipitated as a directive their instruction to constitute or form the PKTT. But it had to be effected by the commissioner. And Minister Mchunu was insistent that no, General Masemola had nothing to do with this. It was the president who and subsequently the interministerial committee that was responsible for this. Yes, but the commissioner is central to that. There's no way in legislation or in law where the president can just constitute a PKTT like that within SAPS Act at least, as far as the arguments were going yesterday. But I'm very worried. I'm very worried about all of this. But one of my colleagues was saying earlier on Ray White's show, standing in for Bongani Bingwa, that there's still something missing in all of this. It is a true smoking gun in this matter as far as Minister Senzo Mchunu is concerned. There are some flaws, there are some procedural shortcomings, but a smoking gun is still missing, right? There isn't something very tangible that we can point to and link him to, as opposed to Julius Mkhwanazi, who also made his last appearance yesterday, we then discovered that he had received 70,000 rands from Clement Manyathela for various activities, including petrol money, including paying for supposedly the funeral of a sibling, and every now and then Clement Manyathela would give him some money. And the evidence leader, Advocate Sello, was very meticulous in spotting that this money also conveniently came at the time wherein the MOU had to be signed in the city of Ekurhuleni, which would legitimize the relationship between the city and Clement Manyathela's company. All this has been very exciting, and it makes me think, myself included, and I'm sure you'd be the first to remind me that I was not very keen on a commission, but it has revealed much. And we must eat humble pie, especially those of us who are not very keen on having this commission, who felt that the president is just wasting time and hiding behind. I think we must eat humble pie. If you want to join me to eat that humble pie, feel free to do so on 011-883-0702. 16-year-olds, it's the 5th of December today. By the 10th of December, Australians who are 16 years old won't be allowed to be on social media. I'm wondering, is that the direction that South Africa should take? Listen to this. And let me just give you a heads up as to what was said exactly. It could be that I'm not phrasing it properly.
In 1 week, Australia will become the first country in the world to ban under 16s from having social media accounts. With one law, we can protect Generation Alpha from being sucked into purgatory by predatory algorithms described by the man who created the feature as behavioural cocaine. Through one reform, more kids will have their time back to learn an instrument or a language or walk their dog or master a torpedo punt or the perfect lob pass. Teenage addiction was not a bug, it was a design feature. And on 10 December, there are going to be withdrawal symptoms. Teenagers will be upset, some will fight to get back on, some will manage to find their way around the tech and keep their accounts. But I truly believe the short-term discomfort will be worth the long-term benefits. Information gathering and enforcement powers lay with the eSafety Commission. But what you can expect on 11 December is that eSafety will send notices to the 10 platforms we have named in our dynamic list. These notices will seek evidence, including how many underage accounts they had on 9 December before the law started and on 11 the law started. Those platforms will have time to reply before the next round of information requests are sent out, asking for updated numbers every month for 6 months. The government...
Yeah. And I'm wondering if South Africa should also consider that, given that so many of our young people are consumed with social media. And whilst it is a powerful tool, and I don't want to be an extremist or play a zero-sum game where I demonize social media platforms altogether, there's some great things that have come out of social media. I know that kids, including my son, at times he uses YouTube to study, to understand certain concepts a little bit better. But do you think that this is headed towards the right direction, as Australia will forbid 16-year-olds legally from participating in various social media platforms? And is that the route that South Africa should take? I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. That and much more. 25 after 9.
Hi, 702 lenders. Danny here. Immediately is immediately. And Nohan, this guy, Mr. Mchunu, was a teacher by profession. I wonder, if he cannot understand the meaning of immediately himself. Maybe that's why he left teaching. Hi,
Thabo. This is Anonymous. Hello to the listeners as well and the team. Thabo, you must remember that when you are in trouble or you are smelling trouble, you'll say anything that will make you get out of trouble. Whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, but the plan is to go out of the mud. So I think that's what's happening here.
I suppose so. And I'm also very keen in knowing from you, as the commission will be taking a bit of a break from today, how does it fare? How did it fare for you? Did they do a good job? Where do they need to improve? The questioning between those who appeared before the commission and the commissioners, the evidence leader, how did they do according to you? Out of 10, how did they do? I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. And of course, because it's a Friday, you would know that we have Gratitude Friday. That is still on the table, on the open line. That is still definitely on the table. Anything that you're grateful for, we're happy to hear from you on 011-883-0702. I also wanted to posit something on a lighter note. I was having a business dinner yesterday with some colleagues, and one lady then said that she had stopped drinking champagne, or she didn't want to be associated with champagne anymore. And she said that, of course, she loves champagne and she understands champagne and she's been drinking champagne. And the reason for that is because champagne has become so popular now that it's associated with slay queens, and every single person around claims to love champagne and to be a champagne drinker now. So she's excusing herself from that elite. And it made me wonder, other things that have become problematically popular that you don't want to be associated with anymore. You love that thing, but because then everyone jumped on board and it was unnecessarily popular, problematically popular, and to an extent where it turned you off. I'll give you my example and I'll own my truth. The Crocs. I don't own a pair of Crocs simply for that reason, because the Crocs became problematically popular. So I choose to excuse myself. I love them. They look so comfortable. I wish I could wear them. But because now every single person is a Crocs fundi, I thought, let me take a bow and remove myself from that. And as we were chatting about this with the producers, one of our producers here, Zintle, said, yeah, there are other people who also say that they don't shop at Woolies anymore because every single person now shops at Woolies. And she calls that elitism. And elitism as in, it's now for an exclusive group. And she says that people like that are problematic. People like me are problematic because now that we are joined by many other people in doing something, we want to remove ourselves from that particular thing. Do you feel the same way? I go as far as songs, by the way. There was a beautiful song by Tony Braxton that I loved, Unbreak My Heart. When it came out, every single person loved it. And it was playing everywhere. So I stopped loving the song. I gave it a break. And when people stopped loving it, and then went back to it. Is that wrong? Let me know. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, just leave your voice note on 072-702-1702. That's on a lighter note. I know someone is going to call and say, the country's burning, but you're talking about useless things. That's on a lighter note. Over and above many other things that we're speaking about. On a lighter note, if you want to comment on that, you're most welcome to do so. It's exactly 9:30, Abel.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
702 indeed. Welcome back. 24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Let's go straight to your voice notes.
Good morning, Thabo. For me, it was a Cavella. Listen, Cavella, I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Good morning, Clement. Good morning, 702 listeners.
As for me, is the Uzi type of dressing. Those hoodies. I like them very, very, very much. But when I realized that most of the criminals that I saw in the country's courts, they used to wear those Uzi hoodies. So for me, it was just a let off. So I thought maybe it's a criminal kind of dressing. So yeah,
So
Uzi for me. Jerry and Katlo.
Good morning. When you like something and you leave it because it's become common or popular, is that not reverse elitism? So you were elite because you were a small group, then everybody hops on, and it's no longer elite, so you don't like it. Are you not the elitist to start off with? Like on the N1?
Mike, no, bro. No, Mike. It's got nothing to do with elitism. Zintle was saying this. It's not. It's just that at times you feel like I just don't belong in this group anymore. Let me make a practical example about something that is not that expensive and you can't claim that it's elitism. So, I used to love, anyone who knows me, I used to love wearing All-Stars. I'd wear a pair of All-Star on any given Sunday and twice on a Tuesday. I loved All-Stars and I still do. But as soon as everyone jumped on buying All-Stars and they were available at all stores I don't want to mention the store names and whatever else. As soon as they became so accessible that even people who were not in their township language, Ditleva, were wearing All-Stars, I realized that it's my cue to go. Every single Tom, Dick and Harry was wearing All-Stars now. Even people who are not worthy of wearing a pair of All-Stars, you'd see that this person, Soga, they should never ever come close to. And All-Star had something about it. Only certain people had to. I left All-Stars and I miss them like crazy. I mean, I wish I could buy myself a pair. And I had something with All-Stars, a great relationship that every time I wore All-Stars and I went to the stadium, especially FNB, and watched Orlando Pirates would just win. That was my thing. But I stopped All-Stars because every single person was now wearing All-Stars. So is that elitism? Oh, I don't think so. Maybe it is. I don't know. But feel free to let me know. 011-883-0702. Madlanga Commission. Malibongwe, you wanted to say something about it. Welcome. You've been holding for some time. Welcome.
Good morning, Chavo and listeners. Man, I wanted to just give the Madlanga Commissioner 11 out of 10 or even 12 out of 10.
Yeah.
Those are two patriots, man. I must say their names. Advocate Mashape, Advocate Sesi Baloy, Advocate Sandile Kumar. Those two ladies can tell a lie before you even say it.
Yeah.
I like their game playing. On day one, they let you fool around. You think you've got them. Then the following day, they dismantle you one by one until you concede that you liked everything you liked. You concede. They dismantle it one by one.
Yeah.
I hope Zondo is taking notes. I hope Sesika Pembe is taking notes. Because Zondo Commission was so useless. I'm sorry if I can use that on radio, but it was so useless. I hope he's taking notes. And the current Sisika Pembe, I hope she's taking notes as well.
I think she's doing a brilliant job. Justice Sishampe. I think she's doing a fantastic job. I don't know if you've been following, and she's been holding people to account, and she's been very firm and fair at the same time. I think if you've been following it very closely, she's doing a brilliant job. The Zondo Commission, there'll always be, I suppose we won't see eye to eye on that, but I hear your point, Malibongwe, and I don't want to dilute it. Thank you so much for your call. And please stay tuned to 702. Obet, thanks for your patience. You've been waiting for some time. Welcome. The floor is yours.
No, thanks so much, Brother. My comment is basically on the stance taken by Australia in, barring or, blocking under 16s from accessing social media.
Yeah.
I don't want to generalize things here. I'm afraid of being a generalist. However, look at Tabo. I want to look at things from the perspective of our local communities vis-a-vis those guys who are in upper affluent areas. Now, you really said a very good comment that, look, sometimes from social media, indeed, there are very good things there. We all agree. Like you said that, like your son, for example, he goes to YouTube to learn new concepts and everything else. Absolutely. Now, let's just remember from the voice note that you played from Australia, that lady said, let us remember that we're looking at longer-term objectives and benefits than the shorter terms. Shorter term is basically barring someone for 16 years. But then after 16 years, one can have access to social media. Now, let's remember this, Tabo. You and I, we grew up in a time we did not have social media. But we made it.
Yes.
Even though we did not have access to YouTube, but we made it. Now, we're saying also to our children, for now, just don't go there. If we made it, surely they will make it. Remember now, teachers now, they've got even better ways of educating our children than our teachers who taught us those years ago.
Yeah.
And let's remember great inventions from aeroplanes, from computers, all these things were invented before social media was there. So I really do stand with them. And now, coming to the point of not generalizing, let's remember that those folks in the affluent areas, their children, they're not only stuck on social media, they've got more activities that they do. Now you come to our black locations. When a child gets a cell phone with internet, they are there the whole day long. Why? Because they don't have anything else to do other than just being on social media. So I feel and I see that eventually those negative impact tends to be more heavier in our black communities, more than the affluent. I don't want to generalize, but it's the thing that we see.
Yeah. To what extent, though, Orbit, because we must also learn to read the signs of times. And as much as you and I grew up under that particular era, we must know that our parents did not also enjoy what we enjoyed. And that also propelled us forward, or in your words, made us to be who we are today. Remember, we were not stagnant. Even when we were growing up, we were not living like our grandparents or our great-grandparents. There was some bit of evolution, and the motion and passage of time necessitated certain changes that exposed both you and I to things that our parents and grandparents didn't have. Shouldn't we allow our kids the same latitude to also indulge in what is now available? And the key issue should be my role and your role as parents to be able to monitor, instill values, and make sure that this tool does not become a monster in their hands.
Yeah, just a small little additional there. Let's remember this is called fourth industrial revolution. Wherever the revolution is, Tabo, we must know that there are some victims. It really will change things for the better, but we don't want our children to be the victims of this.
Yeah, but I said evolution, not revolution in this instance. I don't want to sound like Minister Mchunu arguing about immediately and effective immediately. But I would assume that, But now go ahead before I say goodbye. Yeah,
absolutely. I think you just nailed it. No, thanks so much. Excellent.
Okay, thanks, brother. All the best. Orbit in Rosebank. I've been neglecting to read some of your very interesting text messages that have come through. This one says, Thabo, I used to love hiking until COVID hit. Now hiking has become a groove of some sort. People even go there with mobile speakers. And this comes from Lerato in 4 ways. I agree, Lerato. Yeah, hiking is also one of those. It used to be a bit nice, but now everyone does it. It's become something else. It has evolved into something else, right? Hi, Thabo. For me, it's the tattoo. I regret getting mine all over. I look all over. I look everywhere. Oh, I see. She says, it's my fault. I didn't read it properly, Dennis. Forgive me. You say, hi, Thabo. For me, it's tattoos. I regret getting mine. All over I look. It's just tattoos. Very interesting. Morning, Thabo. I passionately hate All Stars shoes, Uzi hoodies, Dickies outfit, and VW hatchback. This is Daniel from Vanderbilt Park. Morning, Thabo. The black leather and soft soles grasshopper shoes. I still relate to the gangsters here on the Cape Flats. I prefer the new style grasshoppers. George in Cape Town. George, I feel you on that one. I really do. Hi, Tabo. There's an element of elitism in what you are saying. Whenever there is an establishment, maybe restaurant that is now frequented by black people, people will be saying it's now ghetto. Please, good people, remember there's always someone better and less fortunate. No, and I'm not even saying it on basis of race at all, but I hear your point. I hear your point very well. It's not lost on me. I get that and absorb that. And if it comes across as that, I apologize. It's not intended to be that way. For me, it's not even about, there are too many blacks here. Let's go somewhere else. I don't subscribe to those politics. And I think if you've listened to, my time on air, you would agree, you'd disagree that I don't subscribe to those kind of politics where we say, you want to be the only black at a dinner party, like that book written by Eric Mieni. Omandingo, the only black at a dinner party. No, I'm not saying that. I don't want to be the only black at a dinner party. I'm saying, the Crocs. It's not only black people who wear Crocs, white people, everyone. That on its own for me is a put off that it's now become a public entity. I do want some things to somehow relate to people that I share commonality with. If it's for everyone, then I'm like, oh, okay. But I get your point, ne? I get your point. It's not lost on me. And I can never ever advocate for, the only black at a dinner party. I'll never ever do that. I actually believe that if you are the only black at a dinner party, you must kick the door and let others walk in. But your point is not lost. It's 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. Keep those coming through. I'm loving your messages. They're amazing. 011-883-0702.
702.
WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
Let's go straight to the voice notes, Abel. I haven't been paying some attention to them. Let's hear what 702 lenders have to say.
Hey, good morning, Tabo. That's a funny topic. I'm here from Randbeck. For me, it's a Cavella. So we had like a couple of pairs,
yes.
Myself and my wife. And then as soon as we moved from Pretoria to Johannesburg, we actually realized that it gave us up that we're not from Johannesburg. So a lot of people looked at us and asked, are you from Pretoria? Just purely from wearing Cavella. So we gave those up. Yeah, new pairs, literally have to keep them up.
Good morning. Commenting on the lighter note. Unfortunately, I just got into the car and I'm about to drive off, so I didn't have the time. Although I thought maybe I should just Google the difference between elitism and classism, because I think they probably invoke different reactions and emotions in us. I totally get, staying away from a song because now everyone is busy with the song. Some are probably even butchering the poor song and then going back to it because you are like the true fan.
Yeah.
Which is different from now, catching feelings because now everyone or more people are having access to, a certain shop, like you are saying, Woolworths, because maybe we were thinking it's for a certain LSM. That's more on the gatekeeping side, and, people will even get angry. Now this restaurant, now everyone is golfing. I think that one, comes with more of a mean spirit than, just saying, you know what, I'll let everyone go crazy over this movie and I'll go when the cinemas are less full. That's my 2 cents worth. Lerato here.
Hi, Tabo. Tommy here. Oh, my man. The Golf GTI. Oh, I love the car. I had 3 of them. I had the GTI 5, the 6, the 7.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, the stigma that goes with it, you can just imagine. And as you're growing older, I still love the car so much, but I can never go back to it. But, it had a very, very bad stigma. Even when you approach a woman when driving that car, they'll tell you, you GTI guys, you love women. So I had to always explain myself that I actually love the car for what it does, not for other benefit. But it was a great car, but now I had to let go. Thanks, Tabo.
Hi, Tabo in the 702 lenders. For me, it's more about reputation, more than it's about what actually how many people are involved or how many people like that thing, how popular it is. It's more about reputation. If it has a bad reputation, I disassociate myself. I cannot be drinking Savannah because of the reputation that it has. And Cavella, there's this shoe, Kavela.
Yeah.
I had it back in, I think, 2003-4, when I was doing my first year back then. And after that, it just became popular, and in a not so nice way, because someone once said it's a cheap, expensive shoe, and I agreed. And that is the reason why I will not be buying a Kavela. Some people wear it and I see it looking good, but uneasy.
Yeah. No, I'm just like me. I'd never buy a Kavela. They must forget about me. There's no way I'd be caught in a Kavela. Awa, forget about me then. Lerato, you're raising a very interesting point. I completely am with you 100% on that one. There is an element of mean-spiritedness when you don't want other people to partake in something simply because you believe it's elite, and that's not what I am advocating for. I mean, many years ago I wrote a post about Woolies and saying that it's not that we are following any race or any class by shopping in Woolies. It's because we also want amazing things. We also want good things in life, as simple as that. And so I agree with you 100% when you say that. And of course, again, with my All Stars example, if you know South Africa, and I think many of you would agree with me, unless you're just trying to pick a fight, our All Stars were mainly worn by the black community and the colored community, the African and the colored community mainly. So it's got nothing to do with elitism. I'm saying within the black community, as within, not even, I would have understood if perhaps other races and if it was a very expensive shoe and the elite were subscribing to the concept of All Stars. No, among us, the very lowest of the low, even there, I stopped wearing it because I thought now it had degenerated into something else. And it had nothing to do with class. It had nothing to do with money, because it was not that expensive anyway. But it had to do with certain individuals. And you thought you should not be in an all-star because you don't subscribe to what we subscribe to and this shoe has a certain unspoken value about it. And you are completely in contrast with that. So, but I loved your views. That's amazing. Thank you so much. But stay tuned, because just after 10, we will be looking at across the desk, and we'll be speaking about the role of ward councillors where you stay. 3 minutes to 10.
Happy Friday, 702 Lenders, on a proper real Friday of December, right? So for me, it has been changing a WhatsApp profile picture now and then. I now find it very childish. I've had a WhatsApp app for 12 years during the days of BlackBerry, and I used to do it then. So when I see somebody do that, I feel like, oh, they just joined the app. 2, it's the Uber. I used Uber before anyone could know there was something like Uber. I remember introducing it to my boss, and she was anti-it. It's a European concept. She rather support Amadex. I taught them that system in the office. Now they use Uber. So Moto Haba very hyper, like, request. I'm like, I'm so over Uber, you know. And H&M, before it came to South Africa, I could afford to buy a good thing whilst it was in Amsterdam, all those other countries. But since it has came in South Africa, I've not entered. There's